Hi everyone, it's Plumpy Peach again, and it is 15 days, so just over 2 weeks since I have had my surgery, and I'm already starting to see a difference. I've got a photo here of me just before I started Opti, and it's a little bit of what I consider a dramatic change. I've just got to see if I can actually get this right. So whoop, that's me just before, and that's me now. So I've lost a lot of, I think I've lost a lot of the puffiness in my cheeks, and it doesn't really show a lot, but I had quite a double chin, and when I smile now, I actually have some dimples. So it's quite exciting to start seeing a change already. My jeans are really baggy around my thighs, and my stomach's gone down quite a bit. This shirt didn't fit me when I went into the hospital. It's still a little bit tight around the stomach, but compared to not being able to wear it at all before I went into hospital, I can now actually comfortably wear it. So that was really exciting. So things that have happened over the last couple of days, and looking ahead to the next week, I went and I saw my GP, and everything worked really well there. We took off the bandages, or not the bandages, the little band-aids that were on my side, and everything had healed up fantastically. And then I went and saw my surgeon just yesterday, and he was super happy with how everything had gone. I got to ask all my questions, which was great because everything I'd been so stressed about and so anxious, the fact that I had no restriction, my what I felt was over drinking, overeating, I just got to take a huge deep breath and be reassured by him. A lot of people had been telling me the exact same thing, but it makes such a difference when you can just hear it from someone with so much experience and training, and someone that you really trust and look up to. And then you look ahead. He said that some people just go through the surgery with regard to my drinking. He said some people go through the surgery and they have trouble drinking. Other people go through and are like me and just have no trouble. And it's just really, really simple. With the restriction, he said again, some people have no problem whatsoever, and it's just, he said, I wouldn't expect any restriction probably until you go into solid food. He said even when you move on to purees, don't worry too much about it. He said you may not have a lot of restriction. He said you may still feel hungry. And to not stress about it, don't work myself up. Another thing that he was talking about was when I asked him about being worried about overstretching my stomach, because I can seem to eat a lot more than other people were telling me that they could eat. And he said that unless you're literally packing in the food and overfilling yourself to the point where you're just eating and eating and eating and eating, he said you cannot overstretch your stomach in that first year. He said you have to be overfilling yourself to the point of pain and over the top pain to really stretch that stomach. He said, and especially on fluids and on puree, he said what you can do is you can naturally, your stomach will expand when you eat, and he said you don't want it to expand too much because it can put pressure on the suture line and the staple line, but he said it won't actually stretch and permanently stretch. So that was really reassuring to hear. The other thing he said was that looking at it, you don't really look at weight loss in that first month. He said he doesn't consider it at all. He just all he looks for and all he wants you to focus on is healthy recovery and a good recovery of your stomach. So that is the absolute and utmost importance for him. He does not care at all. He took my weight and didn't even look at it. His secretary took my weight and he said, I don't care how much you lose. He said, it's of no importance to me. He said, it's only once you hit solid food that we really start looking at how many carbs you're taking in, the fat you're taking in, and that's when the really big work starts, and that's when you start really seeing the dropping of the weight. So that was a good moment for me to really just take a deep breath and start sitting there. I actually lost 1.4 kilos this week. And that was very, very exciting for me. And I just realized that I had been asked to put this into American equivalent when it came to my weights, and I'm so sorry I have forgotten to do that. I'm a little bit of an airhead at the moment. I don't know whether that's normal for being sleeved, but I just am a little bit flaky in the head, which I'm normally not quite so bad. But anyway, another thing that I have been struggling a bit with is I'm really, really shaky, like this kind of shaky, and that's really good. Actually, see, it gets worse the more I hold my hand up, and the other hand is just as bad. And if I try and hold a cup of tea, see, it gets worse the more I hold it up to the point where I have to hold my hand. So it's not good. But what I actually thought it was is I have to take lithium for one of my other medical conditions. And I take another drug because the lithium, one of the side effects is shaking. And I have to take another drug to help that. But anyway, the shaking came back after my surgery. So I thought maybe that the lithium had built up in my system because I was eating less. But I spoke to my doctor and she actually feels that it's a reaction from the anesthesia, and my blood sugar levels are going everywhere. So she said hopefully it'll just be time, and over time and the anesthesia getting out of my body, the shaking should settle down. So looking ahead, I have my first really, really big challenge coming up for a sleeved person, and I'm quite anxious about it because it's I'm not quite sure how to handle it. I've got a couple of solutions, but they're not ideal. So I have a birthday dinner with my fiance's parents, and it's actually for his brother. It's in a 2 weeks or a week, and it's Italian, or going out to an Italian restaurant for dinner, and they usually do the whole 3 courses, alcohol, like usually wine, which I don't drink, which is fine, but I usually get something like a Midorian lemonade, which is my staple. I never go anything heavier than that. And I don't know what to do. I'm going to be on puree. I thought what I could do is call the restaurant and ask if I could bring my own food. But even so, I'm going to be eating for 1 course while they're eating for 3. I'm still, even when I was on Opti, I never went out to dinner, especially not a 3-course meal. I think it's going to really, really push my limits, and I have really good resolve, I feel, and a really good determination, but I think this is really going to push how I'm going. And I don't know what to do. I don't want to not go, but then part of me thinks that it's probably best if I don't go, because I don't know if I'm ready for it mentally. I know I was talking to my sister who she's celiac, so she can't eat gluten, and has to be very strict with that. she said when she was first going out and she was really restricted with her diet that she found it emotionally very, very difficult, to the point where she would want to cry because she found it so hard eating in front of people, and not being able to enjoy the meals with everyone. And I'm a little bit worried that I might be like that, especially being so close to my surgery. I'm also worried that I will have only just gone on to puree, so I'm not sure how I'm going to be, um, how my body's going to react to a lot of food. I'm only just going to have gone on to it, so I don't want to be sick when I'm out. I don't want to have a dumping episode or anything like that. So anyway, I better round this up, or I'll just see how I go, I guess. I've hit my over 10-minute limit. I try not to go much over that so I don't bore you too much. Anyway, I will talk to you all soon and I'll let you know how everything's going. I'm going to go back to my Milo and protein shake, try and get my protein in because I haven't been eating enough protein. It's definitely difficult on the liquid diet to get enough protein in. But anyway, I'll keep trying, and I'm not a big fan of protein powder. But anyway, I'll talk to you all soon. Love you lots. Bye.